Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the shed. Welcome back to Scrapping Scotland in 2024. Today we're going to do a little scrap down video. I actually just got a message from a local who had some scrap for me to come and pick up. Usually it's all electronics that I pick up from this person, but today I got a little bit of a surprise. Let me show you the little surprise. So, amongst the electronics, of which is what we're going to tear down today, which is this Molineux juice maker, amongst that was nice big bit of copper. That's lovely. Okay, I will try and weigh it. It's a bit awkward to weigh because of the shape and size of it. We'll give it a try. So I'm never going to get an accurate reading the way I'm holding it, but it's around 1100 grams. So just 1.1 kilo. And that's great. Yeah, there's a fiver right there. So as I say, a lovely little surprise. But what I'm going to tear down today is, as I say, this Molineux juice maker. It's a bit dirty, that's fine. So I can't say I've ever heard of the manufacturer Molineux. Molineux to me actually means a football stadium. Molineux is the home stadium of Wolverhampton Wanderers. So that's the only reference I've ever heard to Molineux in my life. But now we've got a secondary one. We now have the Molineux juice maker. So we're going to tear it down. We're going to see what's inside it. Never done a juice maker before, so it's a new one for me. Hopefully a new one for you guys. Hope you enjoy this one. If you do, guys, smash that like button. Yeah, do me a favour, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then you know what to do. Hit that subscription button, hit that bell, and be notified of every video when they drop, okay? So first of all, we'll just get rid of our plastic waste. Of which there seems to be plenty. Got a little metal screen inside here, and a little piece of metal here. It's all magnetic, so we'll just throw that into the shred. We've then got a motor and the mechanism here, and we've got our metal handle on the side. Metal handle stainless steel, so that's nice. And now we'll start taking it apart and taking the screws out. So we've got two easy to get to screws, and we've got two deep set. So as you can see, we've got one deep set, two deep set, and two that you can clearly see and easy to get to. So we'll get the two easy ones out first. And then the deep set ones we're going to have to use a manual. Okay, now we can lift the base off and see what's underneath. What do you guys think's underneath? Do you think there's just a standard motor in there? Do you think there's a nice copper bearing motor in there? What do you think? Okay, some more plastic waste. definitely a lot of plastic in this unit. And as we can see here, the whole thing is basically just a motor. So let's have a look at that motor. Let's get it out and see if it has copper in it. So taking the screws out releases the motor, but this top plastic piece is keeping it from coming out. Okay, wow. Looks like beautiful copper. We will check that in a minute. Okay, we'll just get these wires off. Because there's our main power cord. It's attached to a couple of little switches, a little switch here, which, as you know, has got brass. See the brass ends? There's brass inside, and there's also a couple of little silver nubs in there as well. And it'll be the same in that one. Okay, we've got a little box sitting at the side to process later when it comes to our switches. Okay, I'll just cut through these. There's our power cord ready to process. Put that down there just now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to try and do is get off this handle. Now, a smaller screwdriver to get into there. Here's my little stubby. Alright, excellent. Now pop a piece of plastic off. You should now be able to take out our stainless steel handles. Okay, and then as you can see, that's all just clean plastic in there. There's no metal, no springs, no screws. It's all just plastic. Springs on the floor. The little piece that was attached to the inside of the handle, that's just a little tiny piece of aluminium as well. Not a big bit, but it's all adds to the pile. Okay, we need to clean up this stainless steel now, so just pop these out. There's one. There's two. Now I am just going to give a quick run over it with the grinder just to make sure it is stainless steel. And what we're looking for here, guys, is a spark. We got a spark. So it is steel. not magnetic, so it is stainless. And that leaves us with our motor. As you can see, the motor looks like it has beautiful copper on it, and it certainly has a lovely big bit of brass on top. So let's get the screws out, let's try and take this apart. Okay, pull these wires off. Okay, so now we need to remove the outer steel casing here, and I'm hoping this just slips off the top and I don't have to kind of undo anything here, but we'll see. Let's get these screws out first. Okay, there's the bottom piece off. As you can see, these little brush holders are brass. Don't think they're copper, I think they're brass. Okay, so we will clean them up, take them off of that at some point. I'm just going to give this a little tap with a hammer to see if it comes off, or see if I need to do more to get it off. Okay, well there's a starter. That's came out with the copper. Again, we'll check this just to make sure it's copper, because it could be aluminium. There we go, so there's our shred steel. And there's our brass cap. That actually came out so much easier than I thought it was going to. Just a little unscrew and a little pop. Satisfying pop. No, it's not really making the pop sound anymore. Okay, so that's a nice little nub of brass there. Put that to one side. Now, all these motors I kind of do together, okay? There is copper in here, obviously this little thing around the top here is called a commutator. That is all copper, okay? It is thin as you can see, that is about the size of it. Goes around this kind of ferrite insert. I do have a video on me doing this, and I'll link this into the description to show you the best way to take these apart, okay? But for the moment, we're going to put this aside with our other electric motors, because as I say, I have a few of these to do, and I'll do them all in one go. Okay, we'll now get our little brass brush holders off. Clean this up a little. No, it's not coming out. It's in shreds, so I don't care. And now our motor. So our motor, our copper is copper windings around the stator. So what I want to do here is just put a grinder on it gently and see if it's aluminium or if it's copper. A lot of people use a file for this. I just touch the grinder on it. and pleased to say that that is actually copper. I'm not sure whether the light, if you can see that that's copper or if it looks silverish, but that is most certainly copper. Okay, now best way to get the copper off of these is just to cut it one side and then pry it out the other. Okay, to do that I need my snips. So what I do first of all is take off the little plastic piece at the top, because that just gets in the way. Try and trim that back. Okay, that's now ready for cutting. This side as well. Again, that can now be cut. You want to get a little bit further down, just so you can cut right through it. Try and do it without cutting right through all the copper right away. Okay, so now we just cut through. Okay, so that's one side, hopefully got all the strands, maybe a couple that didn't, but we'll see. Okay, so that's both sides cut through, as you can see. Okay, now we just need to stick it in a vise and pry it out the top. Okay, to do this you need a flathead screwdriver. Now when you're doing larger motors, you're better to have a bit of a bigger pry than that, something a little bit more sturdy. For these smaller ones, you know, a small screwdriver will do it. Okay, that's one side done. Turn that around in the vise. Don't want to forget a little brass plug ends as well. Okay, clean up our steel. Okay, and there's our steel. Now, in the US or in Canada, I think you can actually sell this as what they call prepared steel. It's a little bit better quality steel than your standard steel. Okay, in the UK, our yards really don't take prepared steel. It's just steel. Okay, so it just goes in with the shred. It's a shame, but that's how it is. And as you can see, here's our copper. Okay, it's not a lot, guys. You know, it's not a lot of copper, but it's one motor. Yeah. And copper's better than having no copper. We'll clean up our brass. So a nice little clean now holder for our brushes for the motor. I've got one more. There's our second one. Couple of little springs into the shred. Actually, guys, I'll show you my shred container. I don't know what you guys do. Please leave a comment below and let me know where you put your screws and your little tiny bits of metal. I'll show you what I use. I use one of these. Okay, so this is what we call an AdBlue container. The car I drive requires you to put a substance called AdBlue into it, and it keeps down the emissions from your car, from your exhaust. So I have to put in about 10 litres of it into my car every 6 to 8 months. So I have a few of these. Well, I had the car a couple of years, so I don't have too many of them. And here is one that's full of smalls. Okay, so that literally is just nuts, bolts, screws, tiny little bits of metal. Okay. But really handy just to keep them all in one place. Yeah, so that's where I keep mine. Where do you keep yours, guys? So now we'll do a little bit of weighing. Obviously all I'm going to weigh is the copper and the brass, because that's really all we got that's really worth anything. Obviously steel does pay the meal, but the copper is what we're looking for, guys. The copper and brass, okay? And we just really want to see what that's weighed. So I will snip these little brass ends off as well, just to add that into the copper weight, sorry, the brass weight. Don't know my copper from my brass, guys. Nothing new there. Don't know my copper from my brass. Don't know my elbow from my ass. So let's just clean these up. Now these little brass ends as well, I used to save them in a big box and just clean them up. And they do build up really quick, I have to say. But one thing I would say, guys, is try and process them as you get them. You know, like what I'm doing here, kind of just take the brass plug end off, stick it in the brass. Because if you leave them to build up, it really can become quite a task to get them all clean and to add them to your brass stockpile. What some people do is, if you can see the brass end here, some people snip them just about there, okay? Take the top spade piece off and leave that bottom piece, okay? Because that bottom piece is where it attaches to your copper wires, okay? So you can do that. You can get your snips in and you can hit it down the middle and you can open up the bottom of that spade piece, okay? And then you can just pull your wire through and pull it out. Now this one also had something else attached to it. That's alright, we'll go it out. Okay, so there you go, nice and clean. Takes a minute or two. If you've got 500 of them sitting there, you don't want to be taking that time going through and doing them. So do them as you get them, and it makes it a lot easier, okay? I'm not going to do anything with the switches. I'm not going to take the brass out of the switches and include that in my brass total. Not yet. It's another job for another day. Okay, we'll just get this wire off. Give it the old wiggly jiggly. Oh, didn't want to do that. There's now a couple of pieces of copper to add to our copper pile. And then we've just got these two ends left for the brass. Still getting my brass confused with my copper. Pull the wire out. Okay, so we're not going to measure the wire either, guys. If you want to see a scrapper that scraps it all, then check out Scrap It All. Again, put a link to his channel in the bottom of this video, okay? Scrap It All, what he does is, I'm going to measure and I'm going to weigh everything. I will put what those measurements are in both UK and USA in terms, because we actually use different weight systems. So when I use grams and kilos, Americans and Canadians will use ounces and pounds, okay? So I will show you what those two are. I don't put the prices at what it's worth in value because it changes every day. So I could be telling you what it's worth today, but if you watch it 3 days time, it could be worth something completely different. Again, Scrap It All does give you that information. So great channel, great guy. Go and check his channel out, guys, okay? Okay, so so just tear that out. Our copper weighs 116.4 grams. That is 4.1 ounce. Okay, so that's your copper. Our little bits of brass. So I need to tear it out again first. And our brass weighs 30.3 grams. And that is 1.1 ounce. Okay guys, so that was it. The Molineux juicer. That's what we just tore down. You see a nice little motor in it. You know, we didn't make a lot of money from it. But we got a little bit of copper, and we got a little bit of brass, and we got a tiny, teeny weeny bit of aluminium. Look at that. Fabulous. I'm even going to weigh it, because it probably will weigh nothing. Almost. A couple of gram, if that. And another thing saved from the scrap heap, guys. So that's the key thing here. That's the main important thing, that we're keeping this stuff from going to landfill. And we're scrapping it out. Obviously I do have the power cord in that as well. We do have the prongs from the plug, which is more brass as well. So there is a little bit more value than what I've shown here. But showing you that was a nice, easy and quick teardown. In the freezing cold shed today. It is freezing cold. You can see the breath, and that's how cold it is. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight, guys, into how easy it is to tear down that juicer. And as I say, please leave comments down below. Let me know how you store your smalls, your nuts, your bolts, your screws. But this time, guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate everyone that comes along and watches the channel, comments and likes a video. As I say, please do hit that like button. It really does help the channel. I can't emphasize that enough. So please do hit that like button. As I say, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing as well. Thank you very much for spending some time with me in the shed today. I appreciate you guys coming along, and we'll see you in the next Scrap in Scotland. Bye for now.